Alrighty, it's time for the news, Dan.
If you're tired of the same old news,
What more do you want? I want the truth.
You're hearing it. Strap yourselves in, folks.
never fear.
What's the dealio?
Part of life is learning to let things go.
We've got news moms can use.
What was that name again? I missed that.
News moms can use.
Brought to you by Therapon Skin Health, helping moms have healthy, youthful-looking skin for 20 years.
This is News Moms Can Use, and we at Channel Mom pick our news stories based on what we think moms want or need to hear. We don't think a lot of news outlets do that, so we try to do that here for you at the Channel Mom Show, and I'm pretty sure a lot of dads and kids would be interested in some of our news stories as well. Okay, does it always come back to breastfeeding? I mean, once it just gets out there, I guess.
It is out there again. I don't know why this is so controversial.
Well, part of it is there's a general obsession with women, anything to do with women's chests in our society, so I think that's part of it. Because that Time magazine thing was about a woman's chest, let's just be honest. It wasn't even necessarily about breastfeeding. It's just this very provocative shot of her chest. You know what I mean? And by the way, we did discuss the Time magazine cover last week. Very, very provocative, as we said, of a California mom nursing her almost 4-year-old boy. Her choice. Okay, you and I agreed on that. In fact, we had a woman call who happens to be a friend of mine who talked about nursing her own son till he was 4. And I think there was a syndrome involved. That's one reason that she had to continue to feed him breast milk. So it was a good reminder to me that there are reasons sometimes. But what Time was doing was provoking you by showing this kind of racy picture of this really gorgeous mom breastfeeding her 4-year-old who's standing up, which made it look even more kind of wild.
But it's not racy for the 4-year-old.
I guess not. I mean, and my other girlfriend explained that to me. But anyway, we are not here to judge all that. We're just here to say that, yeah, people are obsessed with breastfeeding. Okay, we do have a news story on breastfeeding, and it's a move to stop hospitals from handing out industry-provided samples of infant formula. A Colorado advocacy group says that hospitals should focus on public health, not marketing. The Colorado Breastfeeding Coalition, who knew? Didn't know there was one. The Colorado Breastfeeding Coalition is joining Public Citizen in calling for hospitals to stop including industry-provided samples of infant formula in new mothers' discharge bags because the distribution is unethical and violates good public health policy. So I think it's kind of encouraging to use formula instead of relying on breast milk. Public Citizen sent letters co-signed by more than 100 other organizations calling for the end of the practice to the administrators of 2,600 hospitals across the country, and 17 of those were in Colorado. The letters are part of a new nationwide public citizen campaign aimed at both hospitals and major formula makers. Already 70% of Colorado hospitals no longer market infant formula to new families through distribution of infant formula discharge bags, said the chair of this Colorado Breastfeeding Coalition. And she says the decision is one of several important steps hospitals can engage in to support a mother's ability to nurture her infant with her own milk. You know, I applaud that because we all know that breastfeeding is better for the baby.
It is better.
But it does seem like a little bit of crazy.
I don't want to be told what to do or how to do it.
Well, and also there's that whole thing of trying to control companies too much. We have a society where commerce is supposed to be free and open. And when you get too rule bound by all that, it squashes the free commerce. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're going to do a little drum roll for the most popular baby names.
For 2012?
Yeah, I was kind of... Okay, he's ready. Go ahead, Daniel. Okay, are you ready? Any guesses on the most popular girl's name?
My guess is that my kids' names are not on the list.
My kids are not either, and I did that intentionally, actually. Although this one of the girl's name is actually one I considered other than my daughter's name, Georgia. Sophia is the new top girl's name in the U.S., unseating Isabella, all these Italian names.
And they're old names brought back.
Absolutely. And so is Georgia, frankly, my daughter's name.
It is.
It unseated Isabella after a 2-year reign, according to the Social Security Administration. And Jacob remains the most popular name for boys for the 13th year in a row. I love this part. An Old Testament name. It means supplanter and a cousin of James.
I thought it meant liar.
Jacob, he was a bit of a liar.
He was a liar.
Well, it does mean supplanter, so maybe you're supplanting the truth.
Yes.
Okay. Jacob has been in the top 10 for nearly 2 decades. Wow. Interesting. I mean, I like the nickname better. I like
the name Jake.
Yeah, I do too. The celebrity baby name influence is evidenced by, sometimes this stuff nauseates me, but by two names leaping up the ranks. Mason, I mean, really, you can't decide on your own without looking at celebrities? So they have to help you determine your... I don't mean to make fun of anybody, but come on. Mason, the new number 2 boy's name, is the name of Kourtney Kardashian's baby boy. Once again,
we know a Mason.
Don't need the Kardashians to tell me
when
what
you know a Mason that you really like and love.
Yeah,
you're like, oh, that's a great name.
Except they did it long before Kourtney.
Yes, they did.
14 years ago or something, or 15. And Harper, the fastest rising name for girls, was chosen last year by Victoria and David Beckham for their first daughter. By the way, and I did know this because I was considering Sophia. An ancient Greek name meaning wisdom is what Sophia is. Alrighty. You might even want to turn the music down for this one, Dan, because this one is upsetting. Let me just say this has to stop. Yet another mother has killed her children. And you and I have talked about this. It seems like it's an epidemic. I mean, we are literally able to say this once every couple of weeks, that a mom has killed her kids and sometimes herself. So there's something going on in our country that moms feel that desperate. I don't get it. I wish I could be there for. I don't even know if I should judge her. I mean, it seems awful to me. And yeah, my first instinct would be to slap her. But at the same time, I wonder what's going on.
It's desperation.
Yeah, that moms are doing this. This tragic story from Port St. John, Florida. More than a month before a Florida mother fatally shot her 4 children and then herself, authorities were called to the woman's home because of fights and allegations of inadequate supervision. Dispatch records released Tuesday show that authorities responded to Tanya Thomas's home on 3 successive days in April. And there was this pattern there, and they didn't intervene, and it ended in tragedy. So it just makes me sad. It's one reason we're continuing to develop plans to start something called Mom on Call, so that moms have a hotline to call, because obviously they're in desperate need of some help. And finally, if you sometimes tell your little girl that she's a big girl when she does something in a mature fashion, check out this new definition of big girl. At midnight on May 11th, Bethany Jane Turner came into the world at a staggering 12 pounds, 6 ounces, making her Britain's 3rd heaviest baby girl delivered via natural birth.
I can't imagine
Hello. That. Mom Naomi Turner was 2 weeks overdue. I was 2 weeks overdue with my son. He was not 12 and a half pounds, thank God. When she went into labor on May 10th, this is according to the Manchester Evening News. Despite the baby's size, the mother of 3 said Bethany's birth was no different from those of her previous 2 children. I wonder if she's got no nerves going on.
Well, maybe.
It wasn't until she was born that we realized she was so big. They put her on the scales and everybody was shocked. By the way, the heaviest birth on record occurred in Seville, Ohio in 1879. The baby boy, who weighed 23 pounds and 12 ounces.
How do you do that?
I know like some 2-year-olds that weigh that much. Died 11 hours after being born, according to the Guinness World Book of Records. Unfortunately, he died. The runner-up title belongs to a baby born in Aversa, Italy in 1955, who weighed 22 pounds, 8 ounces. I mean, did they come out eating granola? Or,
Yeah, with teeth and walking?
Shelley, I just told you about this. A Marine offered up one last heroic act before he died. It has to do with a Christian youth ministry called Teen Mania. They do Acquire the Fire events across the U.S., and they were 5 staff members were headed out on a plane to, go to one of the events. The plane crashed. The founder's daughter was on the plane. Ron Luce, his daughter Hannah, was on the plane. The plane crashed. This Marine, who was also, I believe, working for Acquire the Fire, was also on the plane. When it crashed, he was able to pry her loose, get her out of the plane, walk her to a road where they found help. He died, but he saved her life. And she was one of the entire group of 5 to live, the founder's daughter that does the Acquire the Fire event. So our kudos and our sorrow goes out to that family of that brave Marine who saved that girl as one last final act of bravery before he died. So God bless him.